Welcome to Ability MKE Now. My name is Sue Roskoff, and we here at Ability MKE Now are talking all about integration, bringing people with disabilities and people that don't have a disability together, enjoying life here in the Milwaukee area. We all have different abilities, and here at Ability MKE Now, we dive into this topic of diverse abilities. The concept of disability hits a wide range of possibilities. We could be talking about physical or mental disabilities, the deaf and hard of hearing community, blindness, chronic pain, mental health diagnosis, goals of substance use reduction, and the list goes on. We all have our own experience with disability, whether it's our own or with people we know or people we encounter in our daily lives. Here at Ability MKE Now, we break down the barriers and celebrate the ability in all of us. I am so excited to introduce actually a local new friend to the show, and I haven't had much time to get to know him yet, but I'm looking forward to getting to know even more here tonight. So Jeff, I'm going to go ahead and bring you in, and if you could go ahead and just introduce yourself a little bit and tell us who you are.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Sue. Great to be here. Hello, everyone. Name is Jeff Delwish. I am from the Fox Point, Wisconsin area. It's where I grew up. It's where I'm living currently, having lived in northeastern Wisconsin and Chicago, in between there. But I tell people it's like a boomerang. Fox Point always just brings me, I'll stray, but then I come back, and it's always great to be back. So I am a passionate content marketing specialist. I love to write, I love to edit, I love to design, and I am currently seeking my next opportunity, ideally in a remote setting. And that's, I know job searching is stressful, challenging, but the silver lining is that I get to network with wonderful people, including Sue and everyone from Happy Neighborhood Project. It's been kind of a blessing in disguise, this job search.
And I know one thing we were talking about a little bit before the show, something that we have in common with something we've experienced in the past is the understanding personality profiles. And that's one thing that as a person's in a job search scenario, the more you can understand yourself and the more you can understand the people you're speaking with, that makes such a big difference, doesn't it? So
It absolutely, no doubt about that. And it's something I haven't become overly aware of until recent years. I kind of wish I would have known then what I know now, but hindsight's always 2020, as they say.
So, do you actually want to introduce the concept of how this one this is? I know there's lots of different systems out there. There's lots of different books. There's a lot of different ways to look at personality types, but you and I happen to be familiar with the same one. Do you want to introduce it a little bit?
Absolutely, Sue. I believe you're referring to DISC. Does that sound right?
That would be correct.
Excellent. So Sue and I, we have a mutual friend. Her name is Stacy Mulligan, and she is a certified Maxwell disc trainer, DISC. The D is for dominant, the I is for influential, the S is for steady, and the C is for conscientious. Now, Stacy will be the first to tell you all human beings have at least some of each letter. However, we tend to lean more heavily towards one, maybe two. I personally am a big time S. I'm very steady. I'm thoughtful, persistent, and patient. I'm thinking about everyone else around me. I want to make sure everyone else is happy. I have some I in me. I like to think I'm inspiring, communicative, and sociable. As an ambivert, I come out of my shell and I'm Mr. Social for a little while. Again, until I have to come into my shell, I have to retreat. Ambiverts, for those who don't know, it's an extroverted introvert, or you could call it an introverted extrovert. So I'm largely an S with my I moments, but then I also have my C moments, being conscientious, mindful, organized, structured, maybe obsessive in certain areas, but I'm all about consistency. The C may as well stand for consistency. So that's kind of a general rundown of it. Stacy Mulligan is the name, and she does frequent disc trainings, and I have attended just about every single one.
Excellent. And it's kind of funny the way you were going through where your well, and I almost said strengths. It's not exactly strengths. It's just the different types of um well, different pieces. I guess it could be considered strengths. The different pieces that comprise your personality the most. You and I match really closely.
Yeah,
I'm very much in the same boat of what you just said, and that dominance part is on the low end.
that's
And then
bottom for me as well. Yes, absolutely.
and it's kind of funny because we often end up you know how they say opposites attract? For those that know my husband, they probably would know clearly he's somewhere in that DI kind of personality. He's got that dominant side to him. He's very much the inspiring uh the fun guy in the room kind of guy. So we complement each other very well in all that. But if you ask him, he's not going to tell you he's a D. I can tell you that right now. He's not going to admit that.
That's
But
too
that's
funny.
okay.
Yeah, I can't picture Kurt necessarily being loud and proud about that, but I guess I can see a little bit of D.
Because he can definitely be in the guy in charge. If he's in a room with 20 people and somebody needs to take the lead, he can do that with and make it look easy. It's kind of fun to watch because it's that's not easy to do. But
Especially not for people like us, for
yeah,
the S's of the
exactly.
world.
Exactly. So if I personally have gotten so much out of this particular system because it was easy for me to remember and understand. And the gentleman that introduced this to both me and Kurt, actually, we were at an event where Robert Rome was speaking, and he's the one that had put together a book about this. And it was so fun to hear him speak and give examples of each of these different. And as he's giving these examples, I am totally like in my mind picturing our different friends, like, oh my gosh, now I understand. That's why that this friend does this all the time. That's just who they are. And so like the one friend in particular who's the I personality type, they're just the fun loving all that, but really honest to goodness kind of stinks when it comes to keeping track of dates and being on time and being organized. Wait, organized? That's a thing? Though it makes sense once you actually understand that there's patterns and everyone around us falls into different patterns. And if you can kind of put some context to how those patterns come together, it sure does make it a lot easier to understand one another. And sometimes to have, for me personally, sometimes it helps me to have a little bit more patience with another person when I'm understanding. It's like, okay, that's just who they are. They're not trying to make it hard for me. They're just being them.
Absolutely. The I you speak of, clearly C is near the bottom of their chart, so to speak. Yeah, absolutely. I think you said it wonderfully, Sue, in that the disc model, it helps to make sense of our interpersonal struggles because, when I've had difficult social situations, it's so easy to say, come on, why can't everyone be an S like me, like Sue? Why can't everyone just be kind and selfless and thinking about everyone else? Instead of being resentful about clashing personalities, DISC that really helps you to make sense of it. Okay, as an S, I am clashing with the D. Doesn't make the D wrong, doesn't make me the S wrong. We're just different personality types, different upbringings, different wiring. It just, it's all so much more clear to me since I've been attending these regular disc training sessions.
Awesome. Yeah, it to me is that whole thing of looking at it from a different direction. I'm looking at it through my lens, and there's a comment, well, a little cartoon that's on my door at work, where if you can picture this on the sidewalk is written 6 plus 9, and one person is standing on one side looking at it, one person standing on the other side, and how they're seeing the what it is that's written there is different, but they're still seeing the same thing. They're just describing what they see differently. And I think I'm missing a piece of that cartoon as I'm thinking back on it. But it was very clear that it's all about where you're standing and looking at the problem to be able to interpret what you're seeing. And neither one's wrong. They're both seeing the same thing. They're just have a different vantage point. So
Absolutely. Perspective is subjective, and it's important. I've been able to kind of maintain sight of that since I've been introduced to disc. So, big shout out to Stacy Mulligan for bringing that that practice into my life.
excellent. Well, and you know what? Got a little bit of a surprise coming on in here that I am so pleased that Denise is joining us. And I love that she's here. And I'm not sure if you guys have met or not, but Denise, I'm going to go ahead and bring you on in here. She is often here with us, and I'm always grateful to have Denise joining us. Denise Vargas from Live Creatively. Come on in and say hello.
Hello, Milwaukee. I love saying that because where else but here can we be? I'm all the way in New York, but I'm on a radio show in Milwaukee. How cool is that? I tell you, Sue, I love my lifestyle, and that's what I do. I help people live the lifestyle of their dreams. So you can do whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want, all with a positive attitude.
Excellent. Love having you here as always. And actually, do you and Jeff know each other?
We
I
have
wait.
met, yes.
Yeah,
Hello,
excellent.
Denise.
Hello.
Didn't mean to steal the thunder. Denise and I have met at posting parties hosted by Kathy Weaver Monday mornings.
Yeah.
Awesome. So,
At least
I'm gonna have to ask you about that. Actually, I want to ask Denise real quick. Are you familiar with that disc personality person, I don't know, personality profile, I believe is the correct phrase for that one. Are you familiar with that particular system?
I am. I have not taken mine yet. I did the Myers-Briggs, but yeah, I'm actually looking forward to having my disc analysis done because I hear it is like on point. It is so accurate, and I'm like really curious if it's gonna get me.
I am, because honestly, when I'm looking at you thinking, where do you fall into this? I think you're going to be similar-ish to actually both of us. As Jeff was describing his profile, he and I line up very closely with how where our strengths are. So I'm thinking you're not going to be too far off actually from what we're a fun group. I love it.
I agree. And that's exactly it. I think that when you vibe with someone, right, it's because you have very similar personalities. Now, we may not agree with everything, but do we vibe? Absolutely.
Yes, we do.
very well said,
Awesome.
Denise. I was just going to real quick mention I'm not surprised, Sue, to learn that you and I align with our letters. I've had been getting to know you over the past several weeks, and we've always, we work very well together. There's, we mesh, so to speak. So I'm always, it's kind of an aha moment when someone says, "Oh yeah, Jeff, I'm an S as well." I say, "Okay, yep, no wonder we've gotten along from the start. No wonder I felt comfortable around you from the start. I've never felt intimidated or threatened." So it's always kind of a confirmation. Yep. Of course our letters align.
Awesome. I love it. Well, now you did mention posting parties. Now, I'm betting a lot of people have never heard of a posting party. A what? So, can you tell us a little bit about what that is? Because I think they're brilliant and so useful. So, can you please share with us what that is?
Absolutely. So a posting party, the one that I attend, and Denise and Sue, I know you've been semi-regular attendees as well. The one I attend every Monday morning through Zoom, hosted by Kathy Weaver, who is a master networker. Um, what you do, you hop on, it's obviously virtual, put your minds together. Kathy teaches us a lot about LinkedIn as well as other platforms. LinkedIn is a wonderful, very underrated platform as far as branding, professional networking, content sharing. So we get a nice little tutorial from Kathy about LinkedIn. Sometimes, Zoom, YouTube, she likes to throw in other platforms. She's very tech savvy. And into the chat, each participant literally drops a link to a post that we would like to get some traffic on, some engagement with. And what as a group, we go through over the next 48 hours or so, literally review each other's post, react, comment, "Hey, awesome post. I relate to it in that, you know, I like to try and tell these mini stories. If I'm commenting, Sue, on one of your posts, hey, Sue, excellent video. It made me think of this experience I had 5 years ago. I try to kind of relate to it just because they say quality content is about storytelling. So we all share our posts in the group during the posting party. Then we, on our own time, go through, engage with the posts, and wouldn't you know it, the posts end up getting a lot of impressions, and LinkedIn prioritizes them in other people's news feeds because, hey, they see Sue Roskoff is getting a bunch of comments, a bunch of reactions on the video she shared. It must be important. It must be awesome. I want it towards the top of like everyone's news feed, not just those of us who are at the posting party.
They're so effective. And actually, Diva, I know you've hosted posting parties as well. Do you see good results from doing these events like that?
Oh my gosh, yes. I actually have mine coming up on Friday. So yeah, it is unbelievable the traffic that you get. Um, it really helps to get your algorithms up there and to see all the amazing comments that people give you. It just really motivates you to continue doing it, right? To continue posting and building and creating. I absolutely love it. I recommend it to everyone. And plus, like Jeff said, we have a lot of fun, right? And we learn some really great stuff. Kathy is unbelievable. So yeah, definitely come to a posting party. It is so much fun.
Well, and that's something that's very practical that literally anybody can do. If you're running an event locally here in Milwaukee and you want to get that word out there, that is something that a group can do. They can actually just create that post to have all the people that are helping to run the event to share. Everybody says share it out there, but for real, to be able to do the steps of not only sharing it but comment on it, tag the organizer on it, not just like it but love it or celebrate, or do different things to create that interaction. Then that actually makes your post seen farther and farther out, and makes it more visible so that it can bring in what attention you're looking for it to have. So it's
Oh,
super
sure.
practical.
For sure. And platforms like LinkedIn, they absolutely want to keep you on their platform. So what better way than people interacting with each other? That's going to keep boosting it up because you're on the platform longer. Then LinkedIn is going, or any platform is going to help you keep it there longer because of course they see all the activity going on. Like, let's give him a little bit more love. Let's give them a little bit more attention. And before you know it, you have people that you don't even know coming to your posting parties. How fun is that? Get to meet new people.
And that's huge. That's networking, and the whole thing of being able to reach out and introduce yourself to people, get to know what they're all about. And actually, Jeff, I should have you do a little bit more here of sharing what is it that you do.
So, as a content marketing specialist, I love to create content for blog posts, social media posts across, LinkedIn's kind of my number one, but I've got decent experience creating content for Facebook, Instagram. I love to, I have created a handful of, I'd say maybe about a dozen websites in my day. I've maintained websites for clients at past companies. I'm very tech minded, much like the aforementioned Kathy Weaver. I write content, I edit existing content, I design content, I maintain websites and other forms of content. I am an SEO specialist who's able to take existing content, revamp it regularly to make sure it continues to perform well in Google. Any sort of content creation management process, it is ongoing. It's not good enough to just create the website, publish, and say, okay, goodbye, Jeff. I mean that has happened as far as contract projects, but doesn't quite cut it. The website might perform well for the foreseeable future, but there's always maintenance. Content maintenance worker may as well be, um, you know, one of the highest search job titles out there. It really is an ongoing process.
Excellent.
That's
And
so true, Jeff. With websites and any content, as we as entrepreneurs evolve, right? Sometimes we rebrand ourselves, or sometimes we want to share a new idea or methodology with others, and to have someone like you to just be able to go in there and fix it for us, like even if you know how to do it, like I know how to do it, but sometimes I don't want to do it, right? Like I don't have time. So I'd rather just hire you to do it for me. And again, like that rebuilding and rebranding, we're always creating, we're always looking for that new thing. And if you have any kind of business, you can't just do it once, set it and forget it. You have to always keep nurturing it and building and growing. So thank you for helping us with that.
Absolutely. And Diva, you may have been dropping a semi-subtle hint. So if you need to reach out, I got you covered.
Awesome.
It's all about who you know. That's what
Exactly.
networking does for us.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, now, Jeff, I know you're local here. You're a Milwaukee area guy. What's your favorite activity, especially in the summertime, that you like doing around here?
Milwaukee in the summertime, there's a lot to do, but my number one is, always has been, always will be going to Milwaukee Brewer games. I was
Ah,
just there this past Sunday with my mom for Mother's Day, also an early birthday celebration for me. I just had a birthday this past Monday.
yay.
The
Happy
Brewers,
birthday.
thank you. The Brewers lost to the rival St. Louis Cardinals, but it's just a wonderful experience. Baseball has always been my favorite sport. That ballpark is beautiful. That's summer in Milwaukee. My brain immediately takes me to the Brewers tailgating. It's it's amazing. It really is just it's where I'd love to be every night of the week if I could help it.
Oh,
It
If
sounds
that was an option.
awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Can't beat a summer night at the ballpark.
So now tailgating, I don't think is a thing all across the country. Diva, are you familiar with tailgating?
for football, yes.
Well, around here, you name the sport, it's fair game.
I know, I believe the state of Michigan tailgating's not allowed whatsoever. Definitely the city of Detroit. You can't even have so much as a cold sandwich in the parking lot. They'll tell you eat it in the car or throw it out and go in the stadium. So yeah, we are blessed here in Wisconsin for it to be a lifestyle, a way of life. Yes.
It totally
Oh.
is. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm so disappointed, Michigan. I had no idea.
Too
Wow.
funny.
It was not on my bucket list to go to a game there, but now it's definitely not.
Now it'll
Takes it
never be
right
added
off.
to the bucket list. Yep.
Awesome. So, Diva, I should just throw it your way. Did you happen to have any questions that you would like to ask of Jeff, or did you have any tips or anything that you had on your mind for this evening?
Well, I love when Jeff just mentioned lifestyle. I'm all about, people living the lifestyle they want. And lifestyle is such an interesting word. Oftentimes people think about it like, oh, I want to live the $1 million lifestyle. Well, okay, that's great. But what if you just want to live a lifestyle where you don't have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to be at work at 9? Or maybe you just want to live a lifestyle of being positive and happy all the time, right? Lifestyle could mean many things for many different people. So I loved when you just mentioned that, Jeff. And I am definitely looking forward to getting to know you better, having that virtual coffee with you so that we can find out how we can best serve each other.
I would very much like that. And I am going to make every effort to attend the Live Creatively posting party on Friday. And for anyone listening, you should too.
Awesome.
It's fun. The posting part, you get to meet some great people and find out how this all works. It's great. They are wonderful events. Well, and you know what? Speaking of events, so I work at Carroll University, with just over in Waukesha, and we had graduation last weekend, which huge. It was so wonderful. We had great weather. It was a little windy, but it was nice and warm. It was all outside. And I want to share a really super quick story. There was the guy who was the keynote speaker was a graduate from, I believe, 1982. And he was, at the time when he went to school there, was the kicker on the football team. And he was telling the story about how there was one day when they're playing a game and it was like just this horrendous 50-mile-an-hour wind that was going on during the football game. And he's the kicker. So he said during the first half, when one of the kicks that he made, it went like 70 yards and it was massive. Of course, obviously, wind's at his back, right? And he said, for a while there during the game, he's sitting there thinking, oh, the Packers are going to want me. And I'm going to go down this career of I'm going to be a kicker because, oh my gosh, did you see what I just did? It was a conference record that year for a longest kick. Okay, well, then you know what happens? Second half. What happens at second half? You change directions. Now you're on the other end of the field, and now he's kicking into that 50-mile-an-hour wind. So he made his same kick, same effort, same all the things. He said the ball started to go forward, but the wind caught it and it landed behind him. So he said, life lessons of you should never get too full of yourself or too down on yourself because life just happens and you need to keep moving forward. And really, when you step back and look at that game, it still was basically his average kick of like 35 yards was his average normally, and that's still what it was for that game. It was extreme numbers, but it still ended up being, things just kind of flow forward and things just happen. But remembering to just keep things real, and not to get too full of yourself, but not get too down on yourself because there's always going to be good and bad that happens along the way. And just the way he delivered that message just really struck me as he was saying that and sharing the story. And I really appreciated that he took that moment to share such a thing like that because that one spoke to me. So I just wanted to share that here because maybe it'll speak to somebody else. I don't know if you guys have ever had experience along those lines that, I mean, granted, those are big and in front of a lot of people, but go ahead.
It's an excellent story, and I appreciate you sharing. And it's a great point that life will change directions on you against your will. Obviously the kicker didn't ask for if it were up to him, he wouldn't have had to change sides after halftime. The wind would have always been at his back, but we learn to adjust. We learn to kind of roll with what life throws at us, whatever direction life is pushing us, and it's up to us to adjust. Unfair as it may seem, we adjust and we grow along the way.
Beautifully said. Actually, Diva, I'm gonna throw it to you too if you had any thoughts.
Well, you already know how I roll, but I'm fun. Um, and I say that because for those that don't know, I am in a wheelchair. So that's how I roll. You just definitely got to go with however, whatever life throws at you, get creative, find a way around it, just live life and be happy.
I love it. Oh, so yeah, that I appreciate that he shared that story, and this is me, obviously, I'm not quoting him exactly, but I think anybody there could reflect back on that, and it seemed like it really struck a chord with everyone around me as well that day. Thank you so much for letting me share that one. But this has been wonderful. So, a night goes by so fast when we're having a nice conversation like this. Jeff, thank you so much for joining us. Diva, you are amazing too. Can't thank you enough for being here. This is something that I always look forward to be able to have a chance to dive in and talk to some friends here and gain some insights and share information with everyone. We are here on a weekly basis with Ability MKE Now, and for all the wonderful things that you guys all bring here, I hope you all have a wonderful week ahead and can keep in mind all our differences make us all that much more wonderful and special. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue, for having